So we have a group of people that are stateless. We have a land that is contested, and we have an uprising that turned, the streets there into global headlines. I'm Matt Hasquin. I'm a high school history teacher, and we are going through Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire," topic by topic. We started this particular line with Begin, Reagan. Now we're going to Palestine. And when Billy Joel sings Palestine, he's pointing to the long conflict over land and nationhood that has kept the nightly news busy for decades. And in the late 1980s, it erupted into the First Intifada. The roots of this stretch back to the end of empire. After World War I, Britain held the mandate for Palestine, while Jewish immigration rose and Arab resistance began to harden. In 1947, the UN proposed partition, and in 1948, Israel declared independence. War followed. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs became refugees in neighboring countries and in the Gaza Strip and West Bank, which came under Egyptian and Jordanian control. In 1967, Israel seized those territories in the Six-Day War, beginning a prolonged military occupation, and it drew a new political map. Palestinian politics coalesced around the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, which was founded in 1964 and later led by Yasser Arafat. Its factions argued over methods, from guerrilla warfare and airline hijackings, and those things drew global condemnation to eventually diplomacy at the UN. Meanwhile, life under occupation featured checkpoints and land disputes and settlements that were growing on confiscated or contested land, while Israeli civilians faced terror attacks and border wars. Two populations lived with two different legal systems and also persistent fear. In December of 1987, a traffic incident in Gaza helped ignite the First Intifada, a grassroots uprising of strikes, boycotts, graffiti, stone throwing, all led by local committees. Israel responded with curfews, arrests, and force. You have the images of the time, kids with slings, soldiers with rifles, and it reshaped world opinion and the Palestinian strategy. Diplomacy then begins to move. In 1988, the PLO proclaimed a state of Palestine in exile and signaled readiness to accept a two-state framework for a solution. The uprising pushed both sides toward the Oslo path that would emerge in the early 1990s, even as violence and mistrust were, boiling on the surface there. So why this word in the lyric? Because Palestine, it stood in the late Cold War news cycle for disputed borders, disputed identity, disputed rights, and it also stood for a conflict that refused to stay off of the front page or off the evening news. When we tie it back to the song, the name Palestine condenses the refugees, the occupation, the PLO, the Intifada. All those things became, those were the shorthand that viewers heard every night as the 80s, as the decade moved on. The reason why it matters, in the song, Palestine explains how history and displacement and daily life can all just collide. It shows why images from a small strip of land can sway diplomacy far away, and why unresolved status, the questions keep, that unresolved status and the questions around it keep returning, to the center of world politics. We're still there today. If you enjoyed this episode, we're getting close to the end of the song. And we had Begin, Reagan, Palestine, and now we'll be going on with the next line, which will be Terror on the Airline. Thanks for watching.